Well, good morning everybody. Hope you're all doing very well today. Once again, as you can see, we're back in telehandler. You can see in my mirror there, we are once again pulling a pallet load of fertilizer or pallets of fertilizer. We're heading down to a couple of fields at the southern end of the farm here. Today we're spending the day applying granular fertilizer now. So Chris is down there at the moment in the vent with the spinner on the back. We're covering all of our fields this morning, all of our crop arable fields at least. Let's go over here. Make sure everything's all right there. The next thing I want to do is lose some expensive fertilizer into the river. Yeah, so as I was saying, we are covering all of our cereal fields. So we're covering all of our cereal fields, and what we're doing is we're applying like a general application, really. So we're going to be starting in the field on the left here. You can see Chris is parked up waiting for me to arrive. We've already done a couple of fields at the north end that we planted recently, and they're coming along quite nicely. There we go. We will not be doing the cover crop on the right here. That's actually going to be drilled in the next few days, so that will get some treatment once it's established there. Concentrate here and get myself into this field. So we're applying a broad spectrum of dressing fertilizer, as I mentioned here. It is a 16-15-15 6.5 ratio, and that is nitrogen, phosphate, potassium and sulfur all in one. What that does is it allows any growing crop, such as this one here, as we see, we're currently in kind of the second stage of growth here. And what that usually means is that the crop has consumed all of the nutrients from inside or currently in the soil. And we need to be able to replenish the soil with said nutrients to allow the continued growth. So what we're doing with the 16-15-15 6.5 is we are putting plenty of nitrogen in there and plenty of phosphorus in there. To allow the continuing growth of the plant itself, the development of the leaf, as you can see here, as we continue to grow, the leaves are going to continue to expand as part of the next growth stage. As the plant develops, it captures more sunlight, allows the continued growth. So that's what the nitrogen phosphate will do. The phosphorus allows for continued development of the root structure underground, which again is important so it can trap more minerals, more nutrients, and also more water to again promote growth. So that's what we're doing today. Like I say, this is a broad spectrum, so we apply this at the moment to all of our cereal crops. We can put it onto the grassland, but we've saved a bit of money by putting slurry on first, as you saw in previous videos. Once the slurry is in and the grasslands start to kick on a bit, we'll see how it's looking there. We might come along and put a little bit of additional fertilizer on there as well, particularly on the silage land, just to boost that up before we come in to cut and bale that silage up. As you can see, we have got our muck heap in the corner here anyway. When this is combined, we're going to get the spreader on higher, and we'll spread this onto this field anyhow. So that's going to be in the not too distant future. But for the time being, I'm just going to fill Chris up here. He has a little bit left in the back, I believe. Yeah, we've got a little bit, so we'll get some more put into there, and we'll get him fired up and away again. Yeah. Oh dear, what's happening there? just undo this. Okay, so hopefully we should be able to lift this off here. There we go. So we'll fill Chris up here. I might actually take you around in the cab for the first trip anyway. It's always good to see what's going on. And then we've got probably 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 fields to do before we get finished today. Everything else is looking good. The rape hasn't been done yet because again that's recently just been recently had the fertilizer or the spray applied to it, so we don't need to go back in there just yet. Again, we'll leave that to see how it reacts to this spray application in the next couple of weeks, and we might come back in again and just give it a little bit of a top up. But for now it looks like we're kind of good there, so we'll leave the telehandler. Okay, so we'll just edge forward, lift it up, perfect. And away we go. So we are using the Roche fertilizer spinner here. We've had this one for quite a while now. I don't have any issues with it. We have it enabled and operating in conjunction with our GPS on the tractor here, which is fantastic because it allows us to monitor and use what we call Vari-rate on Vari-rate application. So based off of our soil analysis that we've done in previous months, we're able to understand the soil consistency across all of our land, and by doing that we know how much fertilizer we need, that certain type of soil will need to help establish or promote the growth of a certain crop type. So on my computer at home I use a piece of software called Gatekeeper, and Gatekeeper allows me to log all the different soil types, the crop cycles we're using, and the conditions in which they're going into, and what this enables me to do is then calculate the kilograms per hectare that we need to apply to further continue the growth of the crop. So it also eventually means that we're being more efficient with our application. We're saving money on the growing of and the production of our crops, but at the same time we're not kind of short-handing the crop itself. I'm just going to come back down to the bottom and we'll just shoot back up here. There we go. Do like getting out into the field to be able to start applying fertilizer in the spring. It's a sign that we're on our way. The weather is holding out significantly enough that it's not too wet, so we can actually get out into the field. There's nothing worse than being held captive by your own weather conditions, as farmers know only too well. And this is just a small field here, so it doesn't take too long to cover. And once we've done this one, we're going to head down to the sugar beet land and we'll get that covered up as well. For the sugar beet land, I might just stick you up onto a time lapse here to make it a little bit more interesting. So how are you all doing, guys? How's your weekend been? As I capture this, today is Monday, so we're just back after a weekend. I hope you all had a great, fantastic weekend and you're suitably relaxed and enjoying whatever you're doing today. Please do let me know what you guys are up to. I do like to kind of get a bit of an insight into who you guys are, what you're doing. Where you're watching these videos. That's always pretty cool to figure that out. Also very humbling, actually. Never really imagined it would be, but yeah, it's really quite something. Okay, and we're good to go. So you can see here we've still got a little bit of stubble detritus from our last crop. That's primarily because this crop was direct drilled. We came straight back in here with the drill and put this straight into the barley. So we are seeing a little bit of detritus there. That will continue to rot down though. I have no problems about that. Not too concerned at all. No, I've gone and blocked myself in here. Let's get this moved out of the way. So what I'm probably going to do is just leave the telehandler here. It's not too far away from the sugar beet field. It saves just having to lug everything backwards and forwards. Probably just get this poked around this way. We might just get this the spinner topped up whilst we're here anyway. And I'll let Chris sit with the telehandler as well. And back we come. So the important thing to remember whenever we are applying fertilizer of any sorts really, but particularly when we're applying granular fertilizer, is once we've finished we must wash down both the tractor and the spinner. The fertilizer we're applying is very corrosive. If it's left on any metalwork for too long, it will start to rot through metal. But what's particularly bad with the more modern tractors these days, where they're heavily reliant upon electronics, there are a lot of fuse boxes and circuitry that the fertilizer can corrode through. And particularly when you're using phosphorus and nitrogen-based fertilizer, it is very dusty, and that dust can kind of get into all those small little areas and inside wiring and circuitry. This happened to me once with an old Ford we had, Ford 7740 I believe it was, and the tractor just stopped on me. Could still power on, but the circuitry for the forwards backwards shuttle had been completely eroded. We think we'd washed it down, but not to a high enough degree to prevent this from happening. So we suddenly found that I started the tractor up in the shed to go out and continue the next day, and it wouldn't move. It started up, it was fine, pushed it into forward, selected gear, and it wouldn't budge at all. So something happened inside the circuitry that just stopped it from working, and we had to bring the fitter out, and they had to replace a few wires within that circuit box, and then a couple of fuses, and then it was perfectly fine. But it is something that can be easily avoided with a bit more of a kind of a cautious approach to cleaning down the machines after it. Particularly when you look at this Fendt, for example, the amount of electronics that we use here, it wouldn't take much to almost kind of disable the whole device, really, the whole machine. Okay. So the sugar beet's coming along very well indeed. I have no questions or concerns about this. I should expect if it continues to grow like this, we'll be good to harvest actually in a couple of weeks' time. Maybe a little bit more, maybe a month. But yeah, certainly not too far away at all. Which would be fantastic news, because it's going to be great to actually get this harvested and then get the ground ready for some barley after that. Just a little bit more to go into here. Alright, that's good enough for this little field. Straight off the end here. Alright, so what we're going to do, we're going to jump into the field next door. It's not a particularly big field, but it shouldn't take too long to do. But whilst we're in there anyway, we're going to send up the drone. We'll get a couple of different aerial shots for you guys to admire, hopefully. And then we'll come back and we'll have a chat from there, really. So yeah, keep an eye out, and I'll come and see you in a short while. Okay then, so welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that. We'll try to get some different shots in there where possible. As you can see by my gauge in the bottom right corner, the Vari-rate was really working quite well. I rather than used a full tank here, which is always quite reassuring. So we've got a couple of fields left to do back in the yard. Particularly the field where we injected this slurry into the other, about 2 weeks ago now. So we'll go and just apply that one as well. But for now, I'm going to just pop back and we'll fill up the tank properly just to give us a full load to get through there. But yeah, other than that, we're good to go. A couple of different things to kind of keep you guys informed with. I've had a few phone calls from people asking about how much spare hay and straw I have left. And usually I don't sell it, usually I'll just keep it in my own stocks really for future years, so I don't have to bale quite as much up. However, something caught my eye this week. I got a phone call from a gentleman who's organising something called Vari-rate. Now what Vari-rate is, farmers who have any spare hay, silage, straw remaining, donate it to Vari-rate, and what they do is they haul it around the country to farmers who have been affected by severe flooding, so were unable to grow their own crops, for example. So what we'll do is there's a lorry, I think there's an Arctic coming my way at some point soon, in the next week or so, that's to be confirmed. But there's going to be an Arctic coming my way, and we're going to just donate a bit of our straw really. We've got a lot of straw, but we've also got a lot of big baled hay. I made a really good big crop of hay last year, so of which we're not going to use it all before it comes around to time to make some more. So I figured that I might as well do something good with it, and we'll get it donated and get it picked up there. So yeah, that's going to happen soon. It's going to be a nice little thing for us to do. So I'll definitely capture that on video when the time comes. So that should be, I'm expecting that at least to occur in the next kind of few days, so we'll keep an eye on that. And also it looks like that I was having a chat with my dealer, and it looks like Mike's going to be able to help me out and get me a nice price on another brand new but a very rarely used 2016 JCB 416 or 435 even, beg your pardon. So we are going to go for the big one. It's going to cost me maybe a little bit more than I would like, but for the condition it's in, for the age, there's really no arguing with it. So we are in the process of figuring that out. We will be trading in the New Holland. That's going to be going. I can't afford to keep both of them around sadly, but yeah, so that's going to happen in the very near future, and I just need to kind of get the last few details sorted out with that and figure out what attachments and implements I'm going to buy for it as well. So that's going to be exciting for when that arrives, and we're hopefully going to get that put to some good use in the future. We are going to be clamping some silage this year of some sort, so we'll be, we're not going to be doing grass silage. It looks like we're going to be doing whole crop, so that's definitely going to be something to watch out for. But until then, I'm just going to go and pop off and finish the rest of this fertilizer, get this on the field. Have a lovely rest of the day, whatever you may be doing. Enjoy yourself, stay safe, but most importantly, happy farming.